This is Jocelyn Ellis of Jocelyn Ellis and the Alpha Theory, and you are watching ThisIsRealMusic.com.
What's up, y'all? This is ThisIsRealMusic.com, and we're here with Jocelyn Ellis of Jocelyn Ellis and the Alpha Theory. He's going to talk about her and the group itself, and pretty much, find out what they have on deck. So you guys performed last night, and I guess the first thing that stood out was it seemed polished. We got a chance to check out two other bands, and it didn't seem as, polished as you guys were. How long have you actually been making music together?
We've been making music for a little over a year together, and we started performing together, I'd say the beginning of this year. So, we make sure we get in our practices and things of that nature, and we really just gel well together. We just have a really strong vibe that just sort of clicks. So, just as we've been doing more shows, we've just learned each other and our personalities and how we interact on stage, and so, all those experiences have helped us to just, to be polished. We definitely have, I think, more room to grow, definitely. I think anybody, we're all trying to be better, but we definitely try to work at what we do.
How did you guys, decide to actually perform?
Well, I actually met the drummer in class. We actually go to school together, to UNC Charlotte together, and so we were in class, and I had a gig, and I asked him to fill in, and this was before we actually started working together. And he's like, "Well, I have a band. You can check us out, And so I went and checked him out, and we just vibed automatically. It was just amazing. We actually ended up writing a few songs just on our first couple link-ups together, just coming out and vibing with them. And from there, we were just like, "Yeah, this is right," and we just been riding ever since. So.
You guys just released the project earlier this year, in the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning. We just released an EP, and it's actually a combination of work. Some things that I did before we actually started integrating, and then after we started working together, we had some tracks together. So it's basically a representation of sort of this coming together of us, but now, we hope to release an album soon with just a fully integrated body of work. But in the beginning, it has 7 tracks, and it's really just all over the place. But it's a good all over the place. It shows diversity and just freedom and creativity, which is what we're trying to do, and really show people this movement. So,
what's the process like? For you guys now creating music together? The band works out probably the production side first, and then you write to it, or vice versa.
Yeah, mostly they'll jam on something, or the guitarist will come up with a riff, and then we'll get in practice, and I'll just really start freestyling as far as lyrically and vocally, and then it just sort of meshes, it clicks, and then we'll go back and sort of perfect things. I'll go back and actually structure out a lot of my writings, but a lot of times they start off as just freestyles, and that's, like I said, it's just a really, really unique but productive vibe that we have, and it really hits real well. It resonates with all of us, so we can work pretty quickly together.
And talk about, your writing process. I actually found out about you through, I think, 91 and one of the first time that you writing or your writing process specifically.
Sure. Well, like I said, a lot of times, I'll have an idea, and what I'll do is I'll just press record, and I'll just start freestyling over the work I'm working on, and then I'll go back and sort of structure it. Sometimes, it'll be, I'll be inspired, but of course, artists, creators, everything's a muse, so you have that inspiration that just strikes you at your heart real quick, oh, I gotta get this out, so, but yeah, definitely a lot of my songs just start off as freestyles, and I end up writing a lot of verses just freestyling. A lot of times I'll go back and structure it. So.
And with regards to the freestyling, at the show we actually heard you rap it for the first time. All I heard before was singing. That was all. It was it. Is that something that you plan, incorporating into the music going forward?
Definitely. Because I have so many different influences, but hip hop is one of the major influences. You know, I studied a lot of music, and hip-hop was definitely one of those music genres I got into pretty deeply. So, you know, definitely, you know, it's just, you know, showing people everything. You know, I feel like you shouldn't compartmentalize your talent, you know, or hold back anything, because you never know if what type of interpretation for that particular emotion will hit somebody or resonate. So whether it's, you know, singing, or whether it's rapping, or, you know, scatting or humming or whatever I'm doing, you know, to just give it to the people how I feel it should be expressed. So.
And who are some of your influences? You talk about, you know, hip hop being an influence, but any artists in particular, I guess, growing up that influenced you? Anybody that you look at now that you kind of, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've studied a lot of different types of music. My mom, like, listens to a lot of different types of music. I would say everyone from, like, The Police to Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, Stevie Wonder, Alicia Keys was one of my really big influences. Then from the hip-hop side, you know, your Jay-Z, you know, Tupac, you know, and then there's, like, Linkin Park, you know, Bjork, Sade, you know, so I studied a lot of different types of music, you know, and so, yeah, those are probably some of the big names that really influenced my style as far as just being diverse, you know, just expressing what I feel.
And the diversity, I guess, in the music that Jocelyn Ellis and Alvin actually makes. I've heard it described as urban folk. I've heard, like, a lot of different titles attached to it. Is there anything that you particularly describe it as, or, you know, if you had to choose a genre, would you actually limit it to one, or would you just kind of?
Well, we call it, you know, our sound is indie rock, urban folk. So because the guys really have a really strong rock influence, but they also have a lot of various influences as well. You know, blues, jazz, rock, soul, and so you take all of our influences and it really just makes this really unique sound. And so you have the indie rock and the urban folk, and urban folk is a combination of, like, the soul, the R&B, the hip hop integration, you know, and you can even throw some, you know, it's like house in there. I mean, whatever. It's just it's a grand integration of just a lot of different styles. And so indie rock, urban folk is how we classify ourselves, you know. And inevitably, even though we classify ourselves, we don't want to be classified, you know. But, you know, these days you got to give people something to attach to real quick. So.
Is there, I guess, a particular purpose behind the music that you make? Is there anything that some people make music, I guess, for the sake of making music, other than, like, you know, a variety of reasons? Is there a particular reason or driving force behind the actual music that you guys create?
Well, I would say, I mean, all of us create because we know nothing other. We don't know anything else. Like, it's in us, you know, and it's like breathing to us, you know. So we create because we have to create, you know. It's like our breathing, you know. If we don't create, we're not breathing, in a sense. And we do it to express and to let other people know that, you know, they're not the only ones feeling this certain way, you know, and that, you know, we're still human. We still can relate to one another. And we use our instruments, you know, vocals. We use all of that to show people that, you know, hey, like, we're still out here, we're still breathing, we're still living, we're still sharing, you know. And our shows, you know, you see people coming together, you know, for a positive reason, a vibe out, and that's what we're about, just bringing people together and doing what we love. We just want to do what we love.
Where do you see yourself and the band in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. Expanding this movement, sharing this movement, in whatever capacity and that may be. You know, we're not really. We just want to create, and we just want to share. You know, it'd be great if we're, like, touring the world and, you know, just sharing with a lot of people. But, you know, if we can just touch one person, you know, that's really what matters to us. But yeah, definitely. I mean, in 5 years, I'll really say we hope to be touring nationally, if not internationally, because we love what we do, and we love to do what we love and make a living off of. I mean, that's the ideal for any creator, for any artist. So, I mean, that's definitely hopefully where we want to go. It's where we know we want to go.
What's one thing, random, doesn't have to be attached to anything, that people may not know about you?
Let's see. Sometimes I eat breakfast for dinner. I don't know. That's a hard question. Yeah, I mean, breakfast or dinner sounds.
Something wrong with that. That's why I have to sweet.
Yeah, you know, shit. It's 10 p.m. You know what I'm saying? You need just some waffles. Like, you just go do it. You know, why not? So.
All right, y'all. This is thismusic.com. Jocelyn Ellis, and
I've been here, running short, I've been here.